Today, what to do when the addiction loop starts so you can break it in real time. Welcome to Sacred Grit, a podcast equipping men to conquer addiction and overcome inner struggles through physical, mental, and spiritual disciplines so you can become a man of honor and integrity. I'm Jason.Lyle. Now let's get to work. Today you'll learn you need a pattern to interrupt the moment the trigger hits. You must give your body a new way to regulate, and you lock in change by capturing the data. This episode is brought to you by David Dodd, Edward Jones McDonough. What's up, my dude? Welcome back to the Sacred Grit Podcast and Gritty Wednesday. All right, so let's put some teeth on this thing that we talked about on Sunday, because we started talking about nervous system regulation and, ways to create capacity between you and the moment where you use. And I don't know if you listened to that episode, but it would probably behoove you to go back and do so, because I talked about creating this space between you and the ledge where you fall off and use again, right? So today, I want to talk about how we can break that addiction loop, okay, by training our nervous system and for real change, right? And this is, once again, starts giving us tools to where the 12 steps and other therapeutic methods we apply can work. So here's the thing. You need a pattern to interrupt the moment the trigger hits. So as soon as you feel the urge, you don't think, you interrupt. Now, this could also be like, you feel it coming and you could cut it off when you start to feel it coming. So that might mean you go for a walk, you do a task or something along those lines. But this is what I want you to use for now. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to do this immediately. I want you to put your hands on your head. Then I want you to take one step back. Now, what that does is wherever you are, that physically raises your hands, right? And so that kind of gives you a bit of a surrender feel. Put them on your head. Then you step back. That creates distance between you and this perceived trigger. Then I want you to take 5 deep breaths. Then on your 5th deep breath, I want you to take a deep breath and hold it for 5 seconds and let it go. Because in this moment, you're not solving the problem, you're stopping the loop, right? Because the loop is, trigger, feel the trigger, runs up to the brain, use your drug of choice. Trigger, feel the trigger, signal goes up to your brain, use your drug of choice. So it's a loop that we're in. So we're trying to stop that loop from completing. Now, the second thing is you must give your body a new way to regulate. So you have this pause, right? But your body still needs a new relief. So you could walk for 5 minutes. You could do 20 push-ups or air squats. You could splash cold water on your face, or you may just want to step outside and breathe for 5 minutes. But if you skip this step, the urge comes right back, because what we're doing is we're giving the body a new way to move. We're giving the body the relief that it's looking for, okay? So if you skip that step, once again, you're probably going to experience the urge coming right back. Now, you lock in the change by capturing the data. And this is so important. And a lot of guys, they skip this part, but you've got to start capturing data. What triggered this? What was I feeling? What did I do instead, right? And once you've interrupted the loop, you can take 60 seconds and you can write this down. Now, this turns into a huge win because you're training for the next time. If you start tracking this data, you could even start putting some numerical value to it. How triggered was I? How strong was this feeling? What did I feel about how I did instead? You could put 1 through 10 numerical value and start collecting the data. In my coaching program, I use morning and evening check-ins, and guys fill these in. And when we have our weekly check-in calls, I actually have this data that I can use. So I'm encouraging you to gather that same data, because you want to interrupt, regulate, and record. You could write that down somewhere, right? Interrupt, regulate, and record. That's what you're trying to do. Interrupt the loop, regulate the behavior, and record the outcomes. And here's the thing, man. If you fail, right? If you say, well, I went ahead and did it anyhow. You didn't just go ahead and do it anyhow, right? I tell my guys all the time, relapse is research. You can still learn something. And also, listen, man, If you just put your hands on your head and back up, you have already won, because even though you may still give in, you can say, you know what? I put my hands on my head and I backed up. I put pause inside the trigger, and that is huge. So if you feel it coming, move. If it comes anyhow, act. If you give in, record the wins, right? And then you journal so that you have the data. Because if you don't replace the behavior, the loop will complete. So you're going to work on this week. And if you'll start working on this, you'll start seeing some space between you and the ledge, and you'll practically start learning how to control these impulses. And all the other work you're doing will start to integrate into your mind and your body, and your systems will start working. All right. So today you learned you need a pattern to interrupt the moment the trigger hits. You must give your body a new way to regulate, and you lock in the change by capturing the data. All right, my dude. Thank you for listening, my man. I appreciate you listening, and I hope these things are making a difference in your life. You can go down into the show notes, click that Calendly link, and let me help you. There's all manner of options how we can do that. There's some new courses coming out before long you'll be able to access, and I'll have information on those coming. All right. So, closing sponsor is my good friend Jody Morgan at MMB Dentistry in Griffin, Georgia. They are some of the finest folks around. If you're in the Griffin, Zebulon area, or hell, even if you need to drive an hour to get there, that's okay. They are worth the drive. I would encourage you to go see them. You can check them out at mmbdentistry.com. All right, my dude. I hope you have a great week. I will see you on Sacred Sunday.